All right, we're just going to get right into it. I'm going to give you 5 signs of a good coach. Also, 5 signs on maybe a bad coach as well. All right, now we're just going to get right into it. Does your coach compliment you really easily? This might be an instructor one-on-one setting. It might be your baseball coach, basketball coach, soccer coach. This is going to be a good telltale sign if maybe they don't really know what they're talking about. Now, what a good coach is going to do, they're going to know exactly what you should be doing, right? Even if you do something well, they're going to see it. They're going to say, that's pretty good, but you also could have done X, Y, and Z. That's good, but ideally it looks like this. Okay. Now, somebody who doesn't maybe really know what they're talking about, everything's going to look great to them. Everything looks good. Oh, great job. That's, if you're trying to hit a baseball and you have zero idea as far as what mechanics you should be doing, and they're telling you to do this, telling you to do that, maybe it doesn't really make that much sense. By luck, you maybe connect. That's what I'm talking. Great job. There it is. You know what I mean? A good coach, you're going to hit the crap out of something and say, that was good, but you're still pulling your shoulder out. That was good, but you're still getting a little ahead. They're going to know the small nuances of perfect versus, what a bad coach thinks is like, oh, that was great. You know what I mean? So that's one. Does your coach just compliment you really easily? Okay. The next one is your coach disciplined in their own personal lives? Now, a lot of coaches, man, we got a lot of gear in our car. All right. There's a bucket of baseballs that typically lives in the trunk of my car. Okay. What does their car look like? Is it a freaking mess? Is there dust all over the dashboard? Is there old soda cans and whatever just chilling in their car? Now, I'm not going to say that every great coach has just a completely clean car, but there's always telltale signs. And also, like, how are they dressed? Do they look professional? You know what I mean? And again, like, if you have bad habits in just your normal personal life, like, isn't that going to translate over into the information you're going to give? Or furthermore, isn't that going to transfer over into how you receive information? Are you just, are these guys just looking at a 3-minute YouTube video and just going out and just basically paraphrasing what these other people who may or may not know what they're talking about anyways? Or do they know what they're talking about? Do they look professional? Do they act professional? Do they speak professional? Okay. Again, these are telltale signs. And I got to take a pause from these top 5 and just kind of remind everyone, like, again, I've been a baseball coach for 15 years. I was a prospect in college, pitcher. I was undefeated my whole varsity career. Great coaches from elementary school all the way through senior of high school, which they were all the same coaches from the same town, taught by the same guy. College, couple different coaching staffs. One was great. The one before that was awful. And then in the world of coaching in baseball facilities and coaching teams here in North Carolina, Los Angeles, and in New York, where I'm from, I mean, most people don't know what they're talking about. I hate to break it to you, but most people don't know what they're talking about. For example, there's one guy that I worked with at a baseball facility who wasn't a great high school player and never played in college. Now, that to me is a telltale sign. And, there's a great quote out there: if you haven't been there, you can't talk about it. Right? Like, this guy is coaching a varsity team. He's giving all these lessons. He's charging people money, and he's never really done it. Well, that doesn't mean that you can't necessarily explain the mechanics. Okay, maybe there's an argument. But explaining the mechanics versus explaining the mechanics and the hurdles of just fear that you feel in any game, the small nuanced challenges that come in a game, like they're unable to explain that. I'll give you a perfect example. Now, I coached 12U baseball, 15U baseball, a lot of 13, 14, a lot of stuff in there. Now, there's no such thing as a routine ground ball. There's no such thing. A perfectly hit ground ball right to you. Now, on an emotional front, it's challenging because it's so easy, it's difficult. But that part aside, people don't understand just the small, like how to just receive a baseball. The fear of a baseball coming at you. You have a projectile flying at you. A good coach is going to understand the fear that you have when a ground ball gets hit right to you. A good coach is going to understand the fear of, like, all you have to do is just throw it to first. No. It's so simple, it's hard. Right? Like, again, a bad coach, somebody who doesn't understand this, someone who hasn't done this themselves, they don't understand something where it's so easy, it's hard. Ground ball hit right to you. It's not easy, especially at that age group. Again, in my opinion, there's no such thing as a routine ground ball. Go ahead, beat me up over it. Well, you're not coaching them right. All right, yeah, sure. But again, somebody who hasn't been there will not understand the emotional part of that. Understand? Hopefully. Another thing, as far as a coach being disciplined, how many coaches are fat? Like, you're going to teach me something where I got to be extremely physical and you're some overweight guy? It seems a little harsh just to just say it, but I mean, at least 25% of, maybe arguably more, I would argue and say more, but let's just say 25% of being an athlete, I'll just use baseball for an example, 25% of practices is somewhat conditional, is somewhat increasing strength, cardio, mixture of the two to hit the ball farther, run faster, run for a longer pace. If you're a basketball player, and I have zero basketball background, but like, your cardio is I mean, is that not half the game? Like, you guys are running like savages. Like, so if somebody who is completely overweight and they're not doing anything, how can you tell me how to get in shape? Now, again, in my 15 years of coaching, and let me just pause really quick. There's always exceptions. There's two people that already just pop right in my mind that they're overweight dudes. Yeah, two guys that are overweight dudes, and they know what the frig they're talking about. But again, those two guys, they've done it. They're both ex-pro ball players. Like, they've done it. So I kind of cancel out my own exception in a way. But yeah, I mean, if you are overweight and you're teaching people how to get in shape. Oh, what I was going to say, I had the amount of coaches I've heard who all say the same phrase, which they just pulled from some Disney movie probably, of like, you may not be the best skilled team, but you will be the most in shape team. Well, how the frig are you going to get me there? You haven't done it. You've never done it. Most people, when they're coaches, they're immediately this authoritarian figure. They think that they could just say something and it'll just be done. It's like, dude, you were subpar in high school. You never played in college. And now you're this freaking genius know-it-all. Like, what are you talking about? Okay. Now, listen, I'm 38 years old. I believe as a coach, if I'm going to teach somebody to do it, I better have done it myself, which I can say that I have. But two, like, I'm still getting after it. And it's not because of coaching. That's my life. This is my lifestyle. I wake up early. My car is clean. My bed is clean. Maybe my lady yells at me for leaving a little something around the house, pair of socks, a hoodie. All right, I'm not perfect, but for the most part, I am an organized individual. Okay. Between the ultra marathons I've run, 50-mile races, 35-mile races, a ton of marathons, like that's after baseball, but like I've done this and I'm doing it. And now when I'm making my kids get on the foul line at the end of the game and see who can hold the plank the longest, I'm not the guy to just yell and holler at people because they can't do it. Now, I understand why you can't do it. And now when I communicate to somebody who is unable, I know what you're going through. Some other coach who hasn't done this, they're just going to pretend like they're experts. They're going to yell at you. They're going to say some stupid motivational quote that they don't use, which this is for another video, but motivation is nonsense anyway. You need drive, not motivation. You need drive. But again, like, is your coach overweight? 9 times out of 10, they don't know what they're talking about. All right. So, all right, let's skip ahead. Number 3, are there demands and values as a coach? Are they laid back type of people? Do they allow you to come to practice and, just wear whatever, pair of shorts, t-shirt, doesn't matter what? Or do they care how you dress? Do they care how their warm-ups are structured, making you guys look like little militants? You stretch together, it's in formation. When I do this, when I would show up to a field, my guys know they're going to put their gloves facing the same way on the foul line. They're going to do a light jog together. If one guy shoots ahead, come on back, we're going to do this again. You're going to run together as a team. You're going to light jog. You're going to come back. You're going to get yourself in formation. 4 or 5 groups of 3 or 4, somewhere in there. And after I teach them the warm-up, the same warm-up I've been doing forever, it's on you. First guy goes in the line, clap, boom, they go together. High knees, boom, they do it together in perfect rows. So what are your values? What are your coach's values? Does he just kind of let you do whatever? A lot of coaches want to be liked. They think that being liked will, in turn, that's the same as being respected. It's not the case. As players, we're here to work, hopefully. We're here to get after it. For me as a player, it's the thing that at 38 years old, I miss about being a baseball player. I want you to give me an op. I want an operation. I want a mission. I want you to push me. I want to do it as good as I can. I want to be as close to perfect as I can. And then I want you to tell me that you could have done a little bit better. I almost want to be frustrated with you. So let's add those things up, man. Like, if your coach is this laid back guy and he's complimenting you, it's like, is he pointing out where you could be growing at all? Probably not, because he doesn't know where you're able to grow. And I know this sounds like I'm just throwing shade on people. And a piece of me does get a little fired up at these guys because I've had, one altercations where people try to tear me down. It's like, bro, you don't know what you're talking about and you're overweight. But at the same time, you're not doing anything and you're telling people to do something that you've never done. So how do you know how it's done? I've never been a carpenter. Can I just show up to a woodworking class in high school and just start yelling at kids that you're not doing it? You know what I mean? So what are your coach's values? What do your warm-ups look like? Do they look good? Does your coach allow you to just walk around looking like a daggone bum? Or does he want you to be professional? Is he looking professional? Is he early? Is he at the field, the court, the whatever? Is he the first guy there? I'll tell you a quick story, man, and it was the reason why I had to walk away from a baseball organization. The head of it was impossible to get in contact with. Showed up at his house one night. I had to get some jerseys the next day. His games were before mine. Hey, man, I'm telling him I'll show up and let's do this thing together. Even though my team's not even there, I'll just be in the dugout with you. New company, let's get this thing going. All right. I wake up earlier than I have to. It's freezing cold out. It's fall baseball. I drive an hour away So I'm up 2 hours earlier than I got to, which I'm up earlier anyway, it doesn't matter, but I could have been at home. I get to the field, he's not there. I text him, hey man, you showing up? No text. I see his assistant coaches, which are dads, who are unexpectedly having to kind of take the reins. Hey, where's so-and-so at? I don't know. Never called me. Never told me he wasn't coming. Texted me back later in the day, yeah man, I was sick. Head of an organization, 5 baseball teams. A coach who knows what they're doing is going to be on top of everything. Okay? All right. 4, how do you feel after you leave a practice? When you leave practice, 1, are you perfectly worked? Not too much, certainly not too little. And do you actually feel like you grew? Now, when you're young, 10 to 13, there's a lot of growth. And in baseball, you go from a little league diamond to a big one. So there's a lot of growth, but as you get older, that growth slows down. But you are still able maybe to not make a foot length, but you should still be making an inch and another inch. Things that you knew are now getting drilled in a little bit deeper and deeper. Things that were maybe you glitched before, you took on whatever thing you were supposed to do, but now they're habitual and they're instinctive and they're second nature. So when you leave a practice, do you feel like, you know what, if I didn't have to be here today. Guy I had in college, man, like we'd get to the field, he'd show up, he's the last one on the field, which drove me crazy because this is a college sport. And it's like we're all talking to each other, like, what are we doing today? What are we working on? We doing rundowns? Like, it was always random. In high school, we're going to do rundowns we're going to touch on rundowns for a week. And then we're going to go to something else. Then we're going to go back to rundowns for a week. Something else for a week. End with hitting. Same warm up. We know what we're doing. Some fielding, this, that, and the other. End with hitting. Following week, same exact warm up. Same warm up that was in that town for 30 years, by the way. Work on double plays. I don't know, making something up. Work on fielding, end with hitting. The same thing every single day. We were like trained freaking canines, man. We knew what we were doing and we wanted it. Just tell me what to do. I want to go freaking tear it down right now. Okay? If you show up and you don't know what you're doing, 1, it's going to be hard to get into that rhythm, unlike my high school experience where we were revved up before practice even started. And then again, I don't know, maybe we'll do this. Practice is over. I didn't really learn anything. So how do you feel when you leave practice? That's a huge one. And then the last one, are your coaches trying to accomplish anything in their personal life? Now, this isn't, meant for us just to go start interviewing coaches. Hey man, what do you do? What are you doing in your life? You trying to start businesses? No, this guy sucks. No, but like, I feel that a good coach just innately, they're trying to do something. Now, for me, I'm getting more and more away from the baseball field. And also, I'm a drummer. I play for a ton of bands around town. I love playing drums. I'm playing for a slightly bigger band and a slightly bigger band. I want to start a YouTube channel, and I'm training for a 35-mile race in April. So again, is this the criteria that people should be doing? Not necessarily. But if you have a coach who is ambitious in their own life, they're going to look at you in the same way. They're going to wonder why maybe you're not as ambitious as you should be. There's always the 9 batter on every team. On every team. A really good, ambitious coach is going to look at that 9 batter and say, not all the times, but especially as you get older into more competitive, not just baseball, but anything, the last guy on the end of the bench, like a good, ambitious coach, is going to see something really positive in that kid. Like the amount of 9 hitters that I've had, and they're down there because their average stinks. It's the least best. I just can't help it. Like, dude, like you could be doing better. You know what I mean? But that ambition comes from their innate ambition. I can only say that to a kid because I personally have done things that I didn't think I was capable of doing, and then I did them. A coach doesn't know what they're talking about. Oh, little Johnny, you could do it. You just got to work harder. That's not really the case. Yeah, you got to work harder. But again, going back to my first point, like, if you don't understand the nuances and if you don't understand the challenges, all you are is a motivational speaker. And motivation is nothing, man. Motivation is nothing. I cannot stress that enough. It is drive. And then the big question, well, where do you get your drive? That's the starting line right there. Now, again, I can only talk for myself, but for someone who is, I mean, I just happen to love these things in my life where I love practicing drums. I love running races, waking up early, trying to run before work. Like, I love these things. But again, I feel like I am equipped to talk about these hurdles because I do face them. You know what I mean? So again, is your coach ambitious? So that's my top 5. Does your coach compliment you too easily? Are they disciplined? What are their demands and their values as a coach? How do you feel after a practice? And are your coaches trying to accomplish anything? Which kind of ties in, I guess, to a couple of them. But anyways, listen, take that for what it's worth. You got your questions, put them in the comments. I want to read them. I want more things to talk about. And let's go freaking get it, man.